there, my name is Phil Becken, and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And again, I'm begging, at the beginning of all my videos, I beg you, if you could hit the like, share, and subscribe button, any or all of them would be fan-frickin-tastic, and I genuinely am very grateful. And thank you very much for everybody out there who's done it. For everybody out there who hasn't, please can you do that for me? That would be great. I'm sorry that I have to open all my videos begging you to do this, but YouTube doesn't prioritize sad fanboys screaming at their computers in their basement over multinational corporations. Go figure. But that's just the way it is. And you know what? I am so grateful for you guys doing that. I give away stuff. I give away stuff every week. The stuff I'm giving away this week is awesome. Doctor Who, the Green Death, special edition DVD. It's really, really good. Listen, if you haven't got into classic Doctor Who before, this is actually a pretty good one to start with. It is John Pertwee and Katy Manning. It's very 1970s. It was clearly shot in 1973, and it looks it. I just find that kind of charming, though. I enjoy it. All you need to do to win it is subscribe to the channel. Subscribe being the important part. I actually had to re-record an entire video because I forgot to say subscribe when I did the competition giveaway. Subscribe to the channel and leave the hashtag maggots. This week the hashtag is maggots. You can leave it here. You can leave it on Facebook. You can leave it on Twitter. I do a search everywhere, and we give them away on the TARDIS Zone on Sundays, which goes on about 2 hours after Doctor Who airs in the UK, which is, but we're on about 9 o'clock UK time, which means 4 o'clock on the East Coast of America or 1 o'clock on the West Coast. And if you live anywhere else, do the math for yourself. But if you enter, really, genuinely, best of luck. And if you don't win, there's new stuff every week. So, I have been reading Doctor Who magazine since I was a wee nipper. I've been reading it. What? If I move my chair, what do I move my chair this way? Can you see it? Very bad. Yeah, you can see them just behind me. Okay, you really can't see it. But I've been reading Doctor Who magazine since I was a wee nipper. And I've been very excited because they started, a long time ago, reprinting the classic comic strips from there. You know, the weird thing is I read all of these ones and I loved them. I could never get into the Titan comic strips. I really tried. I don't know what it is different because a lot of the creative teams are pretty much the same. But I just love the Doctor Who magazine one. One of the reasons I like it is it's very they have their own eras, you know. So you just it's just like watching an old Doctor Who. Yeah, reading an old Doctor Who comic strip takes you to a different era, and this is a really interesting era that we're going to talk about today because they just released the last of these reprints that plugs the final hole. My only real complaint with the set is it could have been a bit bigger. It could have included a bunch of the backup strips they haven't reprinted yet. It's a little bit of a thin volume, but yeah, I'm really grateful this out again because it plugs this hole. And this is from the early 90s. Well, it must be from like 95 to 96, around that era. So Doctor Who had been off the air for quite some time by then, and there was no possibility of it coming back whatsoever. So what they did initially is when Doctor Who went off the air, the comic strip started to mirror the Virgin New Avengers, which was really good actually. I really enjoyed that run, and it started to mirror that. So you had the Doctor changed his outfit to the New Avengers outfit. Ace was the New Avengers Ace who left the Doctor, fought in the Dalek Wars and came back the super soldier. And they brought Bernie Summerfield in, so it was very, very Doctor Who magazine. They very, very Virgin New Adventure. They redesigned the console room, and it was you got a feeling it was going off in its own direction. But then, a few years went by, and it was clear Doctor Who was never going to come back. It seemed like it was never coming back, so they decided they wanted to do something different. So the general readership of the magazine had fallen away to just a real core fan audience. Because I said, it was off TV, so that you didn't have the casual readers anymore. So that core fan audience was much more open to there being different Doctors and not being the current TV Doctor in the strip. So that's what they did. They rotated different Doctors for a while. And then I think Gary Gillett took over as editor, and he wasn't really happy with that, and he wanted this comic strip to forge its own direction. So they hatched this plan, which was going to wrap up the multi-Doctor cycle, and then brings Sylvester McCoy's Doctor back, but not the New Adventures version. They're going to go back to the TV version. They went back to the TV version with the console room. It's the TV Ace. It wasn't the New Adventures Ace, and then send them off into their own. Move forward and create their own universe, separate and distinct from everyone else's. So that was a pretty good plan. They had and they were going to have like the 3 or 4 stories beforehand lead up to this big story, and before they went off in their own direction. And so that was essentially the plan. But then the TV movie happened, and it came out of nowhere. I remember it happened. It came out of freaking nowhere. Like 1 month, it was like you heard the vague rumors. They're talking. Somebody's talking. The guy from Sequest is talking. You heard rumors, but nobody heard anything. And the next month, it was freaking filming in Vancouver. We're like, what? It just blew your mind, because this was like a year or two after the Doctor mentioned. He had all like these vague rumors, and suddenly it was announced, it was going to be here, it's going to happen, and then the next month it was over. So like everybody kind of held their breath. So this changed the entire plan for the comic strip. So what was going to be a new beginnings with a kind of going back to a new their own version of the Seventh Doctor ended up being his swan song, and was a segue into the Eighth Doctor adventures. And I really recommend those. They're out in 4. I think the first 4 they brought out. 4 trade paperbacks of the Doctor Who magazine, Eighth Doctor Adventures. Really, really enjoyable. I think they're mostly in black and white, and I kind of like that black and white. Again, takes me back to that age when they used to have black and white comics. There's a different sensibility about it. I can kind of even smell the paper in my head when I'm reading these. Which is funny. I got all these reprints, but I've also got the bloody magazines like right underneath them. I just pull out the magazines and genuinely smell the paper. But that's what happened. So so this. So what they wanted to do is create their own universe, and so they did that by wanting to kill off a major character to say, look, we are something different, we are something new, we're our own thing. And so they killed off Ace in this. This is a bit of a spoiler, but they killed off Ace in Ground Zero, and it was, listen, spoiler, it's like 25 years old. If you didn't know, I'm sorry, I guess. But if you did, they killed off Ace, and so it's kind of a groundbreaking story for that. So this is the collection that just came out, just arrived from Amazon. No, from Book Depository. Thank you, Book Depository. Amazon, you still got my season 26 Blu-rays. I really, really want them. They've lost them in the mail, and I can't even cancel the. I can't even know. I can't even get them to send me a replacement, and because it's out of stock now. Because these things sell out so quickly. So if it doesn't turn up by the 27th of this month, I can declare it lost, and then I guess I'll wait for the American version, which comes out on March 24th. I'll hold out to that. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about Ground Zero, the graphic novel Ground Zero. Here, let me see if I can turn it on so you can have a look at it. Doink. Great cover. I really like the cover. It's by David Roach and James Offrendi, who was the off and on. They're one of the current comic strip team. I know them much more from the Capaldi novels. Really, really, really great cover. I'm pretty impressed with this. Let's zoom in a little bit. Pretty nice likeness of McCoy there. Sarah Jane and Susan a little bit ropey, but okay. And then, but here's the most important thing: it introduces the Threshold. The Threshold became like a major villain for the Eighth Doctor strips, and they were really, really good. Let me move that up so you can see a bit better. Yeah, it became this major villain for the Eighth Doctor strip, and so this really starts that. So what they do is they have 3. This has 6 stories in it, and the 2 filler issues, and then 4 major stories. The first 3 stories. The first story is a Fifth Doctor and Perry. The second story is a First Doctor and Susan, and the third story is a Tom Baker and Sarah Jane and Harry story. And what they do is they in between panels in each one of these building up stories, they kidnap a companion and they deposit it in the Seventh Doctor story, the Ground Zero story. So you have Perry, Susan, Sarah, and Ace all together in kind of like a multi-story arc. being brought together. But let's talk about the first story. The artwork in this is mostly by Martin Garrity. Martin Garrity he's been doing Doctor Who comics for a long time. He started about a year before this on a second Doctor strip, and this is a good collection because you're seeing him in his earlier years where he's like building up his style. The thing about Martin Garrity is this: he's kind of you don't have to worry about him. He's solid. He's gonna produce the work. He's kind of like Dave Gibbons in a lot of ways. He's just gonna turn out page after page after page. Is gonna do the storytelling job. It's not gonna dazzle you with his artistry. He's not like Bill Sienkiewicz or Dave McKean, but he's just really a solid storyteller. So the second thing they did with this was to mark a new beginning was. They started they reestablished a full page cliffhangers to the end of each part of the story. So the first story is a Fifth Doctor and Perry story. They arrive. They think they're initially you think they're in ancient Egypt in a pyramid, but it turns out they're filming a mummy movie, which is kind of nice. So they're in 1930s Hollywood. And then at the end of the first episode, we get this page, which is a really fantastic page. Let me just go turn on that. And then let me zoom in, because this is really, I just love this art. Yeah, we have a siren mummy, jink, with like these great claws coming out, like Wolverine-like claws. By the way, if you like Wolverine-like claws on Doctor Who Monsters, check out my Ice Warriors comic strips I did. They're in the same tradition as like the Cybermen strips, which was in the last Multi-Doctor collection by Adrian Salmon. Really fantastic. Or the Dalek strips. So they're one-page strips. You can get them. They're free. I'm not asking you to do anything. You can get them at Biblical Comics. Biblical Comics with an X at the end. .com, and it says Ice Warriors. Click on them. Read and enjoy, baby. Read and enjoy. But yeah, I do have that. An Ice Warrior suddenly has Wolverine claws come out. So yeah, and again, I love the line work in this. It's really, really nice, and these use of black tones. And again, the Siren. So this is written by Alan Barnes. Alan Barnes. This is my second favorite story in the collection. Alan Barnes is incredibly reliable. He only really does good work. I can't think of anything bad he's done. Yeah, this is another panel, which again, it just shows you like clear storytelling. The portraits are very good, and you can really it really drags you in, and you go along with the plot. The second story is written by Gareth Roberts. It's a First Doctor and Susan story set before An Unearthly Child, which was a bit of a rarity back then. That was like hallowed ground. This one I think is one of the weaker stories in the collection. Because I think not the artwork, but the design of it, the design of the monsters in it, I just didn't see it fitting in with that First Doctor's 1960s aesthetic, which kind of like takes me out of it. I mean, it's a personal thing, but it's like I really liked on the Dalek Invasion of Earth DVD. They did alternate special effects, which I'm always kind of a fan of. I like those normally. But what they did them like the Daleks also, and it was in like a 1950s style special effect. So it really, really fitted, but it was like on a much bigger budget than they could ever produce then. In 1964, or was it 64, 65 when that story came out? Let's start looking at that one. So this is Operation Proteus. You have Susan. Let me zoom in a bit so you can see the monster better. You have Susan. She's in like this beatnik club. And the guy's doing his like hippie poetry, shaboom, they like his hippie poetry, and all of a sudden he does this. He mutates into this ghastly monster. Let me see, go a little bit further. So then you meet the major villain of the piece. And it's about it's a crashed alien trying to find a way home, misusing government resources who are trying to misuse him. So it's a good story written by Gareth Roberts. I think it's let down by the design work. The third story is a filler story. It's by Adrian Salmon, Target Practice. Let me zoom in. I just really like Adrian Salmon's work. It's much more what's the word? Stylized than Martin Garrity. But again, if you like it, you like it. I really do like it. I love the design. If you can see the design work on the Sea Devils and the Master back there. So the story here, it's kind of it's a one-off. John Pertwee's Doctor is where is he? He's taken to a UN camp, which is a training camp to deal with extraterrestrials. But there is a twist, which I won't give it away. But the twist is pretty good. I'm pretty sure that's also written by Gareth Roberts. And Gareth Roberts, I always want to support because he was a victim of cancel culture, Doctor Who cancel culture earlier this year, which I thought was pretty sad. And then the third story in the collection is Black Destiny. Black Destiny, we're back in the arc again. Look at these portraits of Sarah and Harry. Again, really explains it, carries it off nicely. Here's look at another page. This is one of the cliffhanger endings. This I think is one of the weaker stories in the collection. Script by Gary Russell. Although Martin Garrity did a lot of work on it as well. I don't. This is the one that I thought was weak, but still, it's readable. I enjoyed it. It whizzed along. It was nice. But again, so it's basically there to set up these three companions meeting up for Ground Zero. What the story that the collection is. That's another page. The story that the collection is named after. So Ground Zero. We're back into very traditional Sylvester McCoy's territory here. And it kind of feels like the Andrew Cartmel strips that he did from a few years earlier, like The Good Soldier. I did a few others as well. So you got this monologuing, you got this feeling of it, not of kind of like emulating the best of comic books from the 90s at the time, the early 90s. So yeah, you do get this kind of feel that they really want to be doing like more advanced, like darker comic books. So let's look at some more of that. So again, this is the Threshold being introduced, which I think really good design work. This is again great background if you want to read the Paul McGann stories. And again, this has the Titanic, what's the word? Elephant in the room of the death of Ace. Which so again, this really puts it into its own continuity. It's a bit of a curio in that. But I found it really enjoyable, and as they were making it, they had who was it? Gary Russell or Gareth? Somebody I think somebody was in Vancouver at the time, sketching out the Doctor's costume that in the Paul McGann movie. So it really does try to join up with that movie. It destroys the console room to explain why the console room is changed so much. The McGann console room still remains my favorite one. I really like that one. But again, great art in it. And then at the end, you've got this little, I would say, fanzine-ish strip called the Fangs of Time, which talks. It's an autobiographical story. Talking about by a Doctor Who fan, talking about his love of it that he's had all his life. He's talking to an imaginary Tom Baker about how much he's loved Doctor Who all his life. And it's got a really nice, sweet little point at the end of it. Here, and then you see you've got Terrence Dicks and Barry Letts there. Again, this one just seems a bit fanzine-ish to me. It's a bit fillerish, but I guess they had to wait before they could bring in McGann, which they did with the next issue. And I think that first McGann story has the Celestial Toymaker in it. I think that's definitely the story, the who they named the collection after. Okay, so that is Ground Zero. Should you buy it? Should it depends. Listen, if you're like me and this is a nostalgia fest and you wanted to plug that hole, I had to have this. I couldn't even consider not having this. But should you buy it? Yeah, look, if you're from that era, fine. If you're looking into researching previous eras, this is an interesting one to get. But it's more of say capstone and a springboard than an entity in of itself. Look, it's not that expensive. It's about £16, $20. Fun read. The other thing is because the comic strip, because the Doctor was off TV at the time, the comic strip shrank because it was the most expensive part of the magazine. So you only had. The stories were 7 pages long each, so you had a 3-part story, so 20 pages long. Ground Zero is 5 part, so it's 35 pages. But it whizzes along nicely. The extras at the back are fantastic, where we have the artists and writers talking about their memories of it. Really love, just like all the graphic novels in the series, all the trade paperbacks in the series, they are put together lovingly and with care. And you know what? For me, it's a recommend because I just love and I care about it. If you love and care about it too, this might be for you. If not, skip it. My name is Phila Beck and the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, subscribe. If you want to win that DVD, don't forget to subscribe, but don't forget the hashtag magnet. And let me know what you think. If you are good enough to leave me a comment in the comment section, I will endeavor to reply to you. Interacting with the audience is, all the YouTubers say this, but it's so true, is the best thing about YouTubing. It's really, really nice. And even look, if you disagree with me, that's fine. Just let me know what you think. And if there's anything you guys want me to cover, just let me know. Have yourselves a fantastic day.